Craig Anderton and our guest correspondent all the way from Sweden, Mats Nurmark, and we are here to tell you about the highlights from the opening day of the Winter NAMM Show 2010. I spent most of my day in the guitar hall and I saw acoustics from Taylor, including the 8-string Barry, which is a fascinating instrument. It's a normal 6-string Barry guitar, but the 3rd and the 4th strings are doubled with octave strings, so it's kind of a cross between a 12-string and a Barry. Really exciting. Taylor also has signature models out for Dave Matthews and Jason Mraz. Martin also has new signature models, including a Jorma Kaukonen model, and we actually got to talk with Jorma today. That was a thrill. There's a whole new line from Martin called the Performing Artist Series. They've partnered with Fishman for the electronics. They're affordable, they're for the working musician, and they just sound fabulous. In the electric front, Paul Reed Smith came out with 5 new signature models. These are in the low price Pacific Rim made ones, so they're going to be available for more people, and they're signature models, and they sort of have a bent towards the heavy metal end, so that'll be interesting to see. Fender also came out with a low price series called their American Special series. They have both Strats and Tellies featuring Tex-Mex pickups and a bunch of other things. Vox, we have to talk about Vox, their Virage series. They continue to add to this beautiful line of guitars with their gorgeous sculpted fronts, tops. And then in amplifier land, the Fender has the new G-Deck 3. We've seen G-Decks before, but this new one promises to be really exciting. It's got a very sophisticated software back end, and you can use the amp itself to control the software and vice versa. Vox also, the Vox amps, that is, added to their Vox AC30 and their AC15 with both custom editions on the high end and their Valve Reactor series on the low end. So exciting stuff there. Paul Reed Smith again had contributions in the amp with their grab and go 30 watt and a really smoking amp called the Sweet 16, low watt 16 watt amplifier. And I'm just going to mention one other thing before I hand it over to Craig Anderton, and that was Fishman came out with their Aura 16. It's another entry into their processor, brand new for the show. This thing is just gorgeous and is a wonderful modeler if you have an acoustic guitar that you're going to plug in. And with that, I will hand it over to Craig.
Thank you, John. There's a jackknife truck on the 405, and anyway, yeah, here we are in Anaheim, and I'm going to keep this short. To say that these are the highlights of the show would be a misnomer. These are some of the cool things that I saw. There's a lot more to come. One of the things that impressed me, DVK, company from Australia, makes an amplifier where you basically can drop in multi-effects things like the DigiDesign 11. Very cool. It's like your cabinet and your speakers and your power amp, clean power amp, and then you drop in your multi-effects and you're good to go. I also like the lag guitars that Korg has. The French company makes really fine acoustic guitars, haven't had much of a presence over in the United States, but that'll probably change with Korg behind them. I thought that was kind of a strange combination until I thought, well, Vox, Marshall, you know, keyboards, what are they missing? Guitars, acoustic guitars. So they got that. PV has Revolver 3.5, which is a nice addition, more amp models, more effects, comes sort of on the heels of their RTAS version. But the stuff that I really can't tell you about is the really cool stuff in Revolver 4.0, because I'm sworn to secrecy. And I wish I wasn't, because they have some really big plans for that. But I was pretty impressed. If they come through with half of the stuff they're talking about, we're going to be in good shape. TC had the Polytune. This is a tuner that shows all 6 strings at once if you play a chord. So like if you're in a situation where you're playing live and you know that a string's out, but are these strings sharp or these other strings flat, it tells you. And if you play one string, it detects that and acts like a regular chromatic tuner and just shows you that one string. 99 bucks, and it's really pretty cool. There was also, I didn't realize this, but Casio had their 30th anniversary party. They've been around for a long time. They had their old little CZ101s and things like that. So that was definitely a highlight, even though it's not necessarily a new product. And I promised I'd keep this short, so that's it for that. And let's hand it over to the esteemed Swede, Dr. Nurmark.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, John. Hello, Harmony Central. My highlights today was John Sear's new guitars from China, no less. A cheap series, well, not cheap, but inexpensive, called the Rasmus series. On the other side of that row was a French company called the Two Note company, and they have the new Torpedo combination load box and cabinet simulation through a proprietary convolution technique, and it sounded excellent with all kinds of amp, no matter whether it's clean twang or heavy metal or Dumble style. And good news for DigiDesign 11 rack users is that they have finally come out and said that we will put new amps and new effects into that unit. They've been a bit hush-hush about that, but now it seems to be official, and I'm very happy with that because I love that unit. And that's about it for me. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Mats. Thank you, Craig. And look for us online. We will be tweeting, and you can check our YouTube channel. That's very important, so we will see you tomorrow.
Bye, Harmony Central.